Family thought my wedding was ordinary, then my $5.5 million luxury home changed everything. Revenge. The day they mocked my wedding. People judge you when they think they know your worth. But humiliation hits differently when they realize you were never the one who lacked value. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these powerful revenge stories. My name is Arman. And everyone in my family believed I was the ordinary one. Not rich. Not flashy. Not impressive. Not worth bragging about. And the worst part? They said it loudly. Openly. Repeatedly. Especially around the time of my wedding. In their eyes, my wedding was going to be simple. Basic. Nothing special. Because that's how they saw me. They didn't know the truth. They didn't know who I had become. What I had built. What I had earned. What I quietly owned. And they definitely didn't know that, in just a few weeks, I would invite them to a home that would make their jaws unhinge. My $5.5 million luxury home. The same home I secretly bought. Because I learned a long time ago that privacy protects peace far better than relatives do. But let's start with the disrespect that built the fire. The invisible son of the family. I grew up in a household where value was measured in looks, popularity, degrees, high-paying jobs, marriages that impressed people, social media-worthy moments. Unfortunately, I didn't check any of those boxes early on. My cousins were overachievers. My uncles bragged about their kids. My aunts bragged about their daughters' marriages. And my parents? They bragged too. Just not about me. I was the quiet one. The simple one. The non-ambitious one. The average one. And whenever someone asked how I was doing, my mother would say, "Oh, he's fine, nothing exciting. You know Arman." Translation: he's not impressive enough to brag about. The wedding they decided wasn't special. When I told my family I was getting married to Myra, the love of my life, do you know what the reaction was? Not congratulations. Not hugs. Not excitement. My aunt said, "Oh, we thought your older brother would get married first. But okay." My uncle said, "Simple wedding, right? Nothing too fancy." My cousin whispered, "I wonder what kind of cheap hall they'll choose." Even my parents didn't help. My mother sighed. "Arman, please keep it small. We don't need to embarrass ourselves with expectations." Embarrass themselves. By my wedding. That sentence stuck with me. But the most painful moment came from my own brother, Salman. He laughed and said, "Bro, just don't be shocked if people don't show up. You know you're not the main event of the family." Myra squeezed my hand under the table. She knew it hurt. She also knew my family had treated me like this for years. But she didn't know I had a secret. One I planned to reveal at the perfect moment. The reason behind their disrespect. My family assumed my life was average because I kept it private. I didn't flaunt my success. I didn't announce my promotions. I didn't post my financial wins. I didn't bring home every achievement like it was a trophy. While they saw me as the ordinary one, I quietly built my life. Heavy checkmark, I worked in tech. Heavy checkmark, I invested in startups. Heavy checkmark, I bought cryptocurrency early. Heavy checkmark, I flipped 2 properties. Heavy checkmark, and I built a company from scratch. By 32, I had more than enough for a luxury lifestyle. But I lived far below my means because I loved peace more than flash. The only person who knew the truth was Myra. My family didn't know. You see, some families don't support you. They just want material to compare you with others. And I refused to feed that machine. The final insult before the wedding. 2 weeks before the wedding, we had a family gathering. Planning dinner. It turned into a roast session. My cousin Sana said, "Myra, you're so sweet. You deserve someone with more ambition." My aunt added, "Don't worry, sweetheart. Give him time, he'll mature." Then someone joked, "At least he's not marrying above his level, right?" That would have been awkward. Laughter. Smirks. Side glances. Not one person defended me. Not my parents. Not my brother. No one. Myra looked furious, but I squeezed her hand. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate me. Let them think I'm the bottom of the family. Because the day they saw the truth, their faces would be worth more than gold. The secret that would change everything. What nobody knew was, heavy checkmark, I had already bought a $5.5 million luxury home. Heavy checkmark, it had 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, an infinity pool, and a private cinema. Heavy checkmark, it sat in the richest gated community in the city. Heavy checkmark, it was designed by an award-winning architect. Heavy checkmark, and it was fully furnished with custom pieces that took months to curate. I bought it in silence. In total privacy. Because I wanted one moment. One moment where every insult, every dismissal, every belittlement would flip instantly into shock. A moment where their faces would say, "Oh, we misjudged him." And that moment came sooner than expected. The wedding, and the whispers of judgment. Our wedding day arrived. It was simple on purpose. Not because we couldn't afford extravagance, but because both Myra and I hated the idea of performing for people. My family hated it. It's so basic. It's too small. Where's the glamour? Salman's wedding will be bigger than this. They should have rented a bigger hall. The whispers were loud enough for us to hear. And as we exchanged vows, I saw some of my relatives scrolling through their phones, waiting for the boring part to end. But the ending? Oh, the ending was legendary. Because after the ceremony, we didn't go to a hotel. We didn't go to a honeymoon suite. We went straight to our home. And the next day, everyone was invited for a post-wedding brunch. They expected it to be in a modest apartment. A small home. Something according to their image of who I was. But when my black SUV pulled up to the front gate of my gated community, my mother asked, "Beta, why are we stopping here?" I smiled. "We're home." And then, the gates began to open. Slowly. Majestically. Revealing a mansion behind them. Glass. Marble. Black steel. Water features. Palm-lined driveway. My father whispered, "Whose house is this?" I stepped out, looked at all of them, and said, "Mine." Their faces? Shock. Confusion. Disbelief. Silence. The silence of people who realized they never actually knew the person they mocked. But that wasn't the best part. The best part was coming next. Because the tour, the rooms, the luxury, the details, and the truth behind my wealth, it would break them. Before we continue, the day they realized how wrong they were. Nothing humbles a judgmental family faster than realizing the person they laughed at built a life 10 times bigger than theirs. Backhand index pointing right before you continue. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these intense revenge stories. The massive steel and glass gates rolled open with a slow, elegant authority that felt like justice unfolding in real time. My family sat in stunned silence inside their cars. Eyes wide, jaws slack. Staring at the mansion they never imagined I, the ordinary one, could possibly own. The driveway alone was a statement. Heavy checkmark Italian marble slabs. Heavy checkmark LED lit water channels. Heavy checkmark sculpted palm trees imported from Miami. Heavy checkmark, a cascading infinity waterfall wall. Heavy checkmark in a driveway wide enough for 10 cars. My father whispered. A.R. Arman, this must be the wrong house. I smiled. No, Dad. This is ours. Myra squeezed my hand proudly. It wasn't just a mansion. It was a reminder of everything they ignored. Everything they dismissed. Everything they assumed I would never achieve. And now, they were face to face with the truth. The silence before the explosion. My mother slowly stepped out of the car, holding onto the door for balance. Because her shock was literally making her knees buckle. This is where you live, she whispered. No, I replied calmly. This is where we live. Myra and I. My cousin Sanaa. The same one who told my wife she deserved someone more ambitious. Looked like she swallowed a lemon whole. She forced a laugh. Arman, is this a hotel? No. A venue? No. My aunt. A rental house? I raised an eyebrow. No. My uncle frowned. Is this a photo shoot location? I crossed my arms. Why is it so hard to believe this is my home? My brother Salman snorted. It's obviously not your house. Arman, come on. Stop with the jokes. I unlocked the door with my phone. The giant oak and steel double doors swung open automatically. Everyone froze again. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a rental. This wasn't a one-day thing. This was my real life. And they had absolutely no idea. The entryway that killed the last of their ego. When they stepped inside, the house hit them like a tidal wave. And it should have. Because the entryway alone cost more than most of their entire homes. Heavy checkmark 26-foot ceilings. Heavy checkmark custom chandelier with 200 hand-blown glass pieces. Heavy checkmark white marble floors with gold inlay. Heavy checkmark a floating glass staircase. Heavy checkmark modern art pieces lining the walls. My mother clutched her chest. Allah. Arman, what is this? A foyer, I said casually. My father murmured. Son, this isn't a house, this is a palace. I shrugged. It's comfortable. Aunt Farzana grabbed my arm. Tell us the truth. You're joking, right? Whose house is this really? I smiled. Mine. My cousin whispered to her sister. But he's... Arman. He never. He wasn't. He couldn't. I did, I said aloud, cutting her denial short. And I did it quietly. Myra, standing tall and proud next to me, added. He worked for everything here. Every inch. My cousin Sanaa's eyes narrowed. But how? You're not. You're not successful like that. Myra burst out laughing. Oh sweetheart. You really have no idea who my husband is. The tour they never saw coming. I began walking through the house. Let's go, I said. Tour starts now. And oh, it was delicious. The living room, the envy begins. We stepped into the living room. Heavy checkmark floor-to-ceiling glass walls. Heavy checkmark a panoramic view of the city skyline. Heavy checkmark a custom L-shaped Italian couch. Heavy checkmark a fireplace that stretched 30 feet. Heavy checkmark rare wooden sculptures brought from Bali. Heavy checkmark smart home panels built into the walls. My uncle let out a low whistle. Arman. This living room costs more than my entire house. I shrugged. It's nice, isn't it? My cousin Sanaa whispered. This couch alone. It's at least $40,000. I smiled. $62,000 actually. Her jaw cracked open. The kitchen, where my aunt nearly fainted. Next, we entered the kitchen. Custom marble countertops. Gold fixtures. Built-in espresso and matcha machines. A fridge that opens automatically. A walk-in pantry larger than my parents' bedroom. My mother gasped. "This looks like a magazine." "It's where we make breakfast," I said. Salman, my brother, muttered. "Bro, who are you?" I chuckled. "The same person you all ignored. Just richer." The cinema room, the moment Salman turned green. I opened the door to the cinema. Heavy checkmark 12 leather recliners. Heavy checkmark 4K projector. Heavy checkmark acoustic walls. Heavy checkmark surround sound. Heavy checkmark popcorn machine. Heavy checkmark a minibar in the back. My brother's mouth hung open. "Arman. I don't even have enough money for a decent TV. You told everyone I was the simple one, right?" I said. He swallowed. "Yeah." I smirked. Turns out simple isn't stupid. The backyard, the death of their egos. Finally, we stepped out into the backyard. The moment the doors opened, every person in my family gasped in unison. Infinity pool with underwater lights. Hot tub. Private bar. Fire pits. Floating lounge seating. Outdoor cinema. A view of the mountains that looked unreal. My father actually whispered, "Arman, did you win the lottery?" "No, Dad," I replied. "I built my life. While you all were busy comparing me to everyone else." The question that broke them. After the tour, everyone gathered inside the living room. Silence filled the air. The kind of silence that only exists when reality slaps people harder than life ever has. Finally, my aunt asked, "But Arman, why didn't you tell us? Why hide all this?" I looked at every person in the room. Every relative who mocked me. Every person who dismissed me. Every mouth that laughed at my expense. And I said, "Because you only value people when they impress you. Not when they're good. Not when they're kind. Not when they're family. But when they make you look good." The room froze. I continued. "You judged me because I didn't brag. You dismissed me because I didn't show off. You treated my wedding like it was beneath you." My mother began crying softly. "Aman Beta, we didn't know. You didn't want to know." I straightened. "And now you do." The shift they never expected. My phone buzzed. A message from a friend. "Congrats on the house, brother. 5 million and worth every dollar." My uncle looked at me. 5 million. I corrected him. 5.5. My mother covered her mouth. Someone gasped. My older brother Salman stared at me with a face full of disbelief, jealousy, regret, and confusion all at once. He whispered, "Arman, you're richer than all of us combined." I smirked. Funny how the ordinary one turned out, huh? The jealousy that exposed their true faces. Jealousy doesn't show up quietly. It arrives loud, ugly, and in the mouths of the people who swear they love you most. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these revenge stories. My family was still standing in the living room. Some gripping their purses. Some holding their breath. Some trying to process how the ordinary son of the family was actually a silent millionaire with a $5.5 million architectural masterpiece. My father stared at the glass walls. My mother wiped tears. My cousins exchanged stunned glances. My aunts whispered to each other like they were in a movie. But shock never stays shock. Not in my family. Shock transforms into insecurity. Insecurity transforms into jealousy. Jealousy transforms into ugliness. I had been waiting for that ugliness. And it didn't take long to appear. The first stab, you got lucky. My cousin Sana. The same woman who told my wife she deserved someone more ambitious. Was the first to break the silence. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest and said, "Well, you got lucky." I raised an eyebrow. Lucky? She nodded, her nose slightly wrinkled. Yes. I mean, come on, Arman. Nobody gets this rich without, luck. Right place, right time. I smiled slowly. Luck didn't get me here. She snorted. Okay, sure, whatever you say. My uncle chimed in. Are you sure this is even safe? Riches like this. They can disappear. Fast. There it was. The fear. The resentment. The subconscious hope that maybe this was temporary. So their egos could stay intact. I shrugged. Nothing about my finances is temporary. Sana rolled her eyes. So what are you now? Crypto bro? Real estate investor? Tech guy? You've never been special. Myra's eyes flashed. She stepped closer and said, "He's been special from the beginning. You just didn't see him. Because you were too busy seeing yourselves." Sana's cheeks flamed red. The second stab, this is too much for someone like you. My Aunt Farzana, queen of backhanded compliments, stepped forward. "Myra, darling," she said lovingly, "you look beautiful today." Myra smiled politely. Then my aunt turned to me. "But Arman Beta." She swung her arm around the house dramatically. "This is too much for someone like you." I paused. Someone like me? She nodded earnestly. Yes, Simple. Quiet. Low profile. You were always the one who never did anything big. Myra let out a slow, sharp breath. I smirked. Well, I did something big. But why? My aunt asked. Surely you don't need this much house. It's too large. Too expensive. Too modern. It doesn't match your personality. I tilted my head. And what exactly do you think my personality is? She smiled sweetly. A modest life suits you. Not this. Ah. There it was. The resentment disguised as concern. The third stab, my brother's envy erupts. My older brother, Salman. The golden boy of the family. The one mom always bragged about. The one everyone assumed would become the richest. Was standing by the entrance to the backyard. He had been quiet the whole time. Too quiet. He finally turned around and said, "Just tell us the truth. Who helped you?" His tone was sharp. Hostile. Threatening. I lifted an eyebrow. "Help me?" He nodded. "You didn't build this alone. You're not that smart." Myra flinched. My mother gasped softly. I smiled. "No one helped me." He stepped closer. "Don't lie. I know you. You were always the average one. I was always the one expected to be successful." He wasn't lying. That's exactly what we've been told our whole lives. But then he added, "So explain how the forgotten son ends up richer than everyone." The room went silent. My father looked down. Unable to defend the words that reflected their own treatment of me. I walked towards Salman slowly. "I'll explain," I said softly. He lifted his chin. I stood in front of him, inches away. "You failed because you wanted praise." His eyebrows shot up. "You chased applause instead of goals. You wanted admiration instead of growth. You expected success to come because you were the family favorite." His jaw clenched. "And me?" I continued. "I didn't need validation. I didn't need applause. I didn't need the spotlight." I tapped my chest. "I built quietly. Disappeared for months at a time. Learned skills you mocked. Took risks you were too afraid to take. Made sacrifices you would never make. I leaned in slightly. And here's the part that hurts the most. He swallowed hard. You would have been happier if I remained beneath you forever. His nostrils flared. That's not true. Then why do you look like you want to punch a wall right now? He glanced at the nearest wall. He genuinely did want to punch something. The day jealousy turned into disrespect. Before Salman could say anything else, my mother stepped between us. Arman, please. You don't have to be cruel. I stared at her. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. Then Sana muttered something under her breath. Something she shouldn't have. Something that changed everything. She whispered to another cousin. Money really changes people. He's acting all big now. Just because he bought this place. He's still the same loser he always was. Myra heard it. I heard it. Everyone heard it. I turned slowly. What did you just say? Sana froze. The room grew tense. She tried to laugh it off. Oh, come on, Arman. You know we're joking. We're family. I stepped toward her. You mocked my wedding. Step. You mocked my wife. Step. You mocked my life. Step. And now that my net worth makes your entire family's income look like pocket change. I stopped right in front of her. You're calling me a loser? Her lips trembled. But. Myra crossed her arms. Say it again, she said. Call him a loser again now that you're standing in his multi-million-dollar home. Sana shook her head violently. I didn't mean it. I smirked. Yes. You did. The moment I took back control. I walked up the stairs halfway. Everyone turned to face me. All eyes on the ordinary one. They had thrown away for years. I lifted my chin. Everyone listened carefully. The room fell silent. You didn't come here today to celebrate us. You came to judge us. Sana's face broke. My aunt looked away. My father shifted uncomfortably. I continued. You laughed at my wedding. You mocked my simplicity. You whispered that I wasn't worth much. You treated my wife like she settled for less. I pointed toward the house. And then you walked into this home. My home. And your entire worldview crumbled. The room stayed quiet. And then I delivered the warning. But make no mistake. I didn't buy this house to impress any of you. I built this life so I'd never need your validation again. My brother swallowed hard. My mother's tears started falling. My aunt's face flushed. Sana looked like she wanted to disappear. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed. The moment they showed their true ugliness. Jealous families don't congratulate you. They try to drag you back down to the level where they're comfortable. Before reading, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss these revenge stories. My family stood before me. Embarrassed, pale, insecure, humiliated. Yet still trying to pretend they weren't the villains in this story. And that's the dangerous thing about relatives like mine. Even when they're standing inside your $5.5 million mansion, surrounded by proof of your success, they still find a way to twist the narrative. So they don't feel like the bad guys. And they were about to twist it hard. Because nothing exposes true character like jealousy mixed with entitlement. The attempt to rewrite history. After I finished my speech on the stairs, my mother stepped forward, wiping her tears. Arman, Beta, listen. We didn't mean to hurt you. You misunderstand us. I slowly descended the stairs. Oh really? She nodded desperately. Yes. We always knew you were capable. We just didn't know you were doing so well. You never told us. I smiled coldly. You didn't ask. Silence. My father stepped in next, plastering a smile on his face. Son, don't be harsh. Families tease each other. It's normal. I shook my head. No, Dad. Teasing is gentle. What you all did was belittling. My cousin Sana suddenly chimed in. Oh, come on, Arman. We were just joking about your wedding. We didn't mean it seriously. I raised an eyebrow. The entire family laughed when Salman said I wasn't the main event. You whispered that Myra deserved someone better. You called my wedding cheap. She stuttered. Okay, yes, maybe we said some things. But we didn't know you were this. She gestured around at the house. I leaned forward. And that's the problem. Her eyes widened. You only respect people when they have money. Not when they're good people. Not when they're hardworking. Not when they're family. My mother panicked. We do respect you. Of course we do. Really? I asked. Tell me one time you showed it. The silence was suffocating. Dad cleared his throat and tried the last card insecure people always use. Arman, we're proud of you. Truly. You've made us all proud. I laughed. Proud? You didn't even attend half the wedding events. You rolled your eyes during the ceremony. You asked Salman why I wasn't doing something bigger. You didn't even say congratulations properly. My father stiffened. I don't remember that. You never do, I said softly. Because in your mind, you're never wrong. I had stripped their excuses bare. But I wasn't done. The most entitled question of the night. My Aunt Farzana cleared her throat. Well, now that we've seen everything, she said carefully. Tell us something, Beta. I turned toward her. Are you going to help the family? I blinked. Help the family? She nodded, smiling sweetly. Yes. You've done so well for yourself. Mashallah. Now it's time to lift others too, right? Family helps family. Myra actually burst out laughing. Oh, now family helps family? Aunt Farzana ignored her. She pointed to me. You can help Salman start a business, right? And maybe give your parents some money. And maybe help Sana with her wedding. And help your uncle fix his house. You have the means. I stared at her in disbelief. You want me to fund the entire family? She shrugged casually. For someone like you, this is nothing. Nothing? Nothing? My fists clenched so hard I felt my nails digging into my palms. I said calmly. Everything I own. Everything. Came from years of working quietly while you all mocked me. My father's voice hardened. Arman, you shouldn't speak like that. We are your family. I glared at him. So were you when you dismissed me my entire life. The flip, we deserve it. Salman stepped forward. Arman, relax. We're not asking for charity. We're asking for fairness. Fairness? I repeated. He nodded confidently. Yes. You have a house worth more than any of us will ever afford. You're rich. You live in luxury. We're your blood. We should benefit. There it was. The entitlement. The expectation. The toxic belief that my success somehow belonged to them. Sana added. You're lucky we're even asking politely. Some families would demand support from someone like you. Myra stepped forward like she was ready to throw hands. I gently held her wrist. No, I said. I want to hear this. My aunt spoke again. You have more money than you need. Share it. I stared at her. I owe you nothing. Shock rippled across the room. My father slammed his palm against the marble counter. How dare you say that to us? We raised you. I stepped closer to him. You didn't raise me. You tolerated me. And the moment you saw someone more impressive, you treated me like I was invisible. My uncle scoffed. You're letting wealth go to your head. I smirked. No. Wealth isn't changing me. It's exposing you. The lowest blow. Sana, whose jealousy was boiling over, finally snapped. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, You may have money now, Arman. But you're still the same boring, bland nobody you always were. Myra gasped. My mother slapped her arm. Sana. But she wasn't done. And let's be honest. No matter how rich you become, Salman will always be the real son of this family. Not you. Salman didn't deny it. He stood there, head slightly lifted, as if she had spoken a universal truth. My chest tightened. Not from hurt, but from absolute clarity. I turned to Myra. You hear that? She nodded, jaw set. I turned back to my family. Good, I said calmly. That settles everything. Their faces twisted in confusion. What do you mean? My mother asked nervously. I walked toward the front entrance, opened the door wide, and said, Get out. Gasps. Shocked faces. Raised eyebrows. My father shouted. Excuse me? I pointed outside. Get out. All of you. Myra stood proudly behind me. My mother began to cry. Arman, stop this. This isn't you. I shook my head. No. This is exactly me. Salman yelled. You can't just throw out family. I stepped closer to him. You stopped being my family the day you decided I wasn't worth basic respect. Sana shrieked. You're going to regret this. I smiled. No. I regret letting you treat me like garbage for this long. The revelation that broke them. Some families don't fear losing you, until they realize they already have. Before we start, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss these revenge stories. My entire family stood frozen in my entryway. Faces twisted in shock, pride, rage, and humiliation. Because they truly didn't believe I, the ordinary one, had the right to kick them out of my $5.5 million home. And that's the difference between reality and entitlement. They believed my success belonged to them. I believed their entitlement had no place in my home. That house wasn't just walls and marble and chandeliers. It was peace. It was dignity. It was everything they denied me growing up. And I wasn't going to let a single one of them taint it. They refused to leave. I held the door open. Out. My mother cried harder. Arman, don't do this. We're family. My father stepped forward aggressively. You want to embarrass us like this? Throw us out like dogs? I met his glare. You embarrassed yourselves. My cousin Sana marched forward, eyes ablaze. This is insane. You're letting your big head ruin your relationships. I tilted my head. Relationships require respect. You've never given me any. She jabbed a finger at my chest. You invited us here. You wanted us to see this house. I nodded. Yes. And now I want you to leave it. My uncle threw his hands in the air. So what now? You think you're better than us? I smiled slightly. No. I know I'm better than the version of me you created in your minds. The room tensed. But I didn't flinch. The family begins turning on each other. My sister-in-law, Salman's wife, who had been silent the entire time, finally spoke. Quietly. Softly. Deadly honestly. He's right. Everyone turned to her. Salman snapped. Maria, not now. She took a breath. No. Now is exactly the time. She stepped forward. Arman doesn't owe any of you anything. He built his life. He worked hard. He succeeded. And all you've done tonight is embarrass yourselves. My mother gasped. Maria. How could you say that? She shook her head. Because it's the truth. She gestured around the house. Look at where he lives. Look at what he's accomplished. And look at how you've spoken to him tonight. You acted like his success was an inconvenience. Sana scoffed loudly. Oh please. You're only siding with him because you want money from him too. Maria took a step toward her. I don't want a single penny from Arman. I want something your family clearly has no idea how to give him. Respect. The room went silent. Salman hissed. Maria, stop talking. She didn't. You've always been jealous of him, she told him directly. You pretend you're the older, wiser brother. But you can't handle the fact that he surpassed you. My father roared. Enough. But it wasn't enough. Not even close. The final sins revealed. My mother wiped her tears. Arman, Beta, we know we said some hurtful things. But it was out of love. I laughed. Dark. Sharp. Love? Love doesn't sound like. I wish Myra had married someone more ambitious. Her face crumpled. I didn't mean. And love doesn't sound like. Arman, keep the wedding small so we don't embarrass ourselves. My father's eyes widened. You're taking things out of. And love definitely doesn't sound like. Arman will never achieve anything big. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Arman, we were joking. No. You were judging. My father tried to change the topic. Look son. This house is impressive, yes. But you need your family. I stared at him, emotionless. No, Dad. You need me. That's why you're panicking. Sana scoffed. Panicking? Please. Nobody here needs you. I smirked. Oh really? I stepped closer to her. Then what were you just saying 2 minutes ago? That I should help pay for your wedding? Or did you forget already? Her face flushed dark red. I was joking. No. You were planning. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Arman, my mother whispered, reaching for my arm. I stepped back. No. Then I said the line that sliced the room in half. You cared nothing for me when I had little. So don't start caring now that I have more than all of you combined. The truth bomb they never saw coming. Salman's jaw flexed hard. Fine, he said. You're rich. We get it. But what exactly do you want from us? I tilted my head. What do I want? He smirked bitterly. Yes. You're clearly trying to prove something. I looked around the room slowly, letting the silence gather. Then I said, I want one thing from you. Everyone leaned forward. An apology. Gasps. Shock. Outrage. My father scoffed. For what? I stared at him. For a lifetime of disrespect. My mother's voice cracked. Arman, that's not fair. It's not supposed to be fair, I said sharply. It's supposed to be honest. Sana folded her arms. You're being dramatic. I stepped forward. Really? Was it dramatic when you called me a loser earlier today? Her face fell. My aunt asked nervously. Why is an apology so important to you? I answered without hesitation. Because for the first time ever, I am demanding the respect I deserved my entire life. My father snapped. We're not apologizing. We did nothing wrong. I nodded slowly. Then you can leave. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. I continued. You don't want to apologize? Fine. But you won't stay under this roof. Sana scoffed. You won't actually kick us out. I smiled. It wasn't warm. It wasn't friendly. It was the smile of a man who finally stopped being afraid of the people who raised him. Oh, I already did. The moment I tore their pride to shreds. My father puffed out his chest. You think money makes you powerful? No, I said simply. Money reveals who already was. He blinked. What? You spent years controlling me with your words. With your expectations. With your favoritism. With your neglect. Their eyes widened. And yet, I gestured around the mansion. I still built something bigger than all of you. I pointed to my chest. So no, Dad. Money didn't give me power. I pointed to them. You gave me power the day you underestimated me. A chill swept through the room. Then I delivered the final blow. And now that I know who you really are, I don't want any of you in my life unless you earn your place. The door closes on them. Myra walked to my side. Took my hand. Lifted her chin proudly. And said, out. We won't ask again. My father fumed. Sana was shaking with rage. My aunt looked dizzy. My mother cried quietly. My brother bit his lip hard enough to bleed. They left. One by one. In silence. Dripping with humiliation. And when the door clicked shut behind the last person, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. The apology they never imagined they'd have to make. Families who treat you like nothing always return when they realize you became something without them. Before the finale, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these cinematic revenge stories. The door clicked shut. The marble floors, the towering ceilings, the quiet hum of luxury around me. Everything felt sharper, lighter, quieter. My house, my sanctuary, was finally free of the toxicity that tried to infect it. Myra wrapped her arms around me from behind. You did it, she whispered. I exhaled deeply, a release 3 decades overdue. No, I said softly. We did it. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Because when families like mine get humiliated, they don't reflect. They retaliate. And by the next morning, the retaliation began. The family group chat erupts. My phone buzzed 47 times in 10 minutes. Not from individuals. From the family group chat. A group I had muted years ago but never removed myself from. The messages were flying. My aunt. Arman, you embarrassed the entire family today. My uncle. Throwing elders out of your home is shameful. My father. You owe us respect. Money has blinded you. My mother. Beta, please don't ruin the family over misunderstandings. My brother Salman. You are ungrateful and disrespectful. I was always there for you. That one made me laugh. Salman had never been there for me. Not once. Not emotionally, not financially, not even as a brother. But then came the message that made me freeze. Sana. Arman, humble yourself and apologize. We might forgive you. Myra spit out her tea laughing. Oh God, the delusion. I shook my head. No reply, I said calmly. They need silence right now. Nothing terrifies a toxic person more. But silence wasn't the end. It was the spark. The surprise visitor. Around 4 p.m. A knock sounded through the house. The type of knock people use when they're angry, not polite. Myra froze. Who is that? I checked the cameras. Salman. Alone. sweating, pacing, jaw clenched. I opened the door slowly. He barged in without asking. "We need to talk," he hissed. I stepped aside just enough to let him in, but not enough to invite comfort. Myra stayed in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, watching. Salman looked around the house again, bitterness shaking in his eyes. "So this is your life now?" "It's always been my life," I said. "You're just seeing it for the first time." He clenched his fists. "You humiliated us." "No," I replied calmly. I defended myself. "You think money makes you better than us?" "No," I said. "But it exposes how you all treated me, like I was beneath you." He exhaled harshly. "Look, man, the family is upset. Mom is crying. Dad is furious. Sana is telling everyone you insulted her." I repeated her own words. I cut in. Salman blinked. "What?" "You weren't listening," Myra said softly. "You never do." He ignored her. Then he said the line he'd rehearsed. "Just apologize. Mom will forgive you." I laughed. "Oh. You think I should apologize?" His eyebrows furrowed. "You kicked us out of your home. You disrespected my life, my wife, and my marriage," I said. "And you expected to stay for dessert?" Salman shook his head slowly. "You're making a mistake." I took a step closer to him. "No, Salman. You made the mistake. The moment you decided you deserved my success more than I did." He swallowed hard. Anger and shame fighting inside him. Then he said something I didn't expect. "Dad wanted to ask you for money." I stilled. "What?" Salman nodded. "That's why they pushed me to come today. To smooth things over. To convince you to help." Myra whispered. "They were planning to use you." Salman continued. "They want help with their mortgage. They want you to pay for Sana's wedding. They want you to help me start a business. They want money." I stared at him. "And you? What do you want?" Salman hesitated for the first time. Then he said quietly, "I just want things to go back to normal." Normal. The word hit me like a punch. Normal meant being invisible, being mocked, being underestimated, being the family punching bag, being the quiet one, being the one who never mattered. I took a step back. "No," I said. "We're not going back to normal." His voice cracked. "Why not?" "Because I grew," I said. "And you didn't." He flinched. "You know someone is hurt when their pride breaks before their heart does." The condition that shattered him. He finally broke down. "Fine." He threw his hands up. "What do you want? How do we fix this?" I inhaled deeply. "I'll tell you exactly what I want." He waited. Myra watched him with pity. I looked him straight in the eyes. "I want an apology." He blinked. "What?" "For everything," I said calmly. "For every insult. Every time you talked down to me. Every time you treated me like I was less. Every time you mocked my life. Every time you thought you were better than me." He inhaled sharply. "Arman. I'm your older brother. And that makes the apology more important," I said. "You set the tone. You shaped the hierarchy. You told everyone I was the small one. You encouraged the disrespect." His eyes glistened. Not tears of sadness, but tears of humiliation. "I'm not apologizing," he whispered. "Then leave," I said softly. He shook his head. "Arman, think about the family." "I am," I replied. For the first time ever. He stared at me. Angry, broken, lost. "What happens if I walk out?" he asked. I exhaled slowly. Then our relationship ends there. His jaw trembled. You'd end decades of brotherhood? I nodded. You ended it long before now. I'm just acknowledging it. He lowered his gaze. Then, without another word, he turned and walked out. The door shut behind him. Soft. Final. Unmistakably permanent. The real twist, the next morning. The next morning, I woke up to a text from my mother. Not insults. Not denial. Not guilt trips. Just one message. We're coming over. We want to talk. Myra looked at me nervously. You think they're coming to yell? I shook my head. No. They're coming because Salman told them everything. She nodded. Then this is it. The final confrontation. The end of the family hierarchy. The moment they would kneel figuratively to the son they once dismissed. But nothing prepared me for what they actually did. Because when the doorbell rang, and I opened it, my parents were standing there. And they weren't angry. They weren't defensive. They weren't yelling. They were crying. And then, they both said the words I never thought I'd hear. Arman. We're sorry.